Welcome to the video lecture of concrete technology. The topic of this video lecture is aggregates and water. We were talking in previous videos also about the constituent of concrete, and the one of the most important part of concrete is the body of concrete. The body of concrete is made by aggregates. So they are very important body for the concrete to reduce the shrinkage, and since it affects the economy, so to understand about aggregates which have to be used in concrete is very important. By seeing this video or by learning from this video, a civil engineer can understand that all the aggregates which are available is not used in construction industry, and the water which have to be used to mix in cement is also an important parameter. Now first I will talk about aggregates. Previously it was a myth that aggregate behave like chemically inert material. But so many researches has been done on aggregates, and it has been found that some of the aggregates are chemically active and they form a chemical bond at the interface of aggregate and hydrated cement paste or matrix. Since aggregate occupy 70 to 80% space of the concrete, so it is very necessary to understand about concrete or aggregate. Now, before or while going through the aggregates, we should also see the classification of aggregates. Now, aggregates can classified in various ways, such as on the basis of weight. If we classify the aggregate on the basis of weight, then it can be classified as normal weight aggregate, lightweight aggregate, and heavyweight aggregate. It means if we are seeing the weight of the aggregate, according to that, that aggregate can be classified in three ways. Now, the next classification is on the basis of occurrence. If it is classified on the basis of occurrence, then it is natural aggregate or artificial aggregate. Natural aggregate such as sand, crushed rock, gravels. In crushed rock, we can consider granite, quartzite, basalt, sandstone, etc. All of them are naturally formed aggregates. Next one is artificial aggregate. Now, the broken bricks are sometimes used as a aggregate, or air cooled slag, or you can say sintered fly ash, clay. All of them are artificial aggregates. Now, if it is classified on the basis of size, then it can be coarse aggregate and fine aggregate. Generally, the coarser aggregate are those aggregate which can retain on 4.75 mm sieve. But it doesn't mean that you bring a Himalaya and put on the screen, put on the sheaves. In construction, generally, in railways, we are using 80 concrete also, 60 concrete also. From 80 to 4.75 aggregates can be used for different construction purposes. But in some dams and other places, we use much higher size. And the aggregates which passed from 4.75 mmc are known as fine aggregate. If we classify the aggregate on the basis of source, it means on the basis of their parent rock, then it can be classified as igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks. Now, what is igneous rocks? Actually, igneous rocks are formed by cooling of molten metal, या molten magma or molten lava at the surface of crust or deep beneath the crust. If it is on the surface of crust, then the rock formed, it can be trap and basalt. But if it is deep beneath the crust, then granite rocks formed. In the same way, the sedimentary rocks, generally they are formed below the sea bed, and at which time they lifted up in the sea. Metamorphic rocks are either igneous or sedimentary, which subsequently metamorphized due to extreme heat and pressure. Now, since my topic is not about igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic, my topic is about the aggregate from igneous rock or sedimentary rock or metamorphic rock. So, if we will discuss about aggregate from igneous rock, it has been found that they are highly satisfactorily concrete aggregate. Why? Because they are tough and dense in the structure. Igneous rock have massive structure, entirely crystalline. It depends on the rate of the cooling which it has gone through. They may be acidic or basic. It depends on the percentage of silica content. One thing is very important, that they are chemically most active concrete aggregate, and when it is used in construction material, then it may show tendency to react with alkalis present in the cement. Next one is aggregate from sedimentary rocks or aggregate from sedimentary origin. Actually, igneous rocks or metamorphic rocks are subjected to weathering agencies, and these weathering agencies decompose fragmentation of these rocks. It has been transported and deposited deep beneath the ocean bed. Since they are cemented together layer by layer, these cementic material should be carbonaceous, argillaceous, siliceous in nature. These aggregates are sometimes, yes, you can say, कि at the same time of deposition, some siliceous material gets subjected to static pressure. These pressures are formed by the flowing water under which they are being layered, they are being stratified. The quantity of aggregate, or you can say the quality of aggregate, varies according to the cementing material and the pressure under which they are formed. So, to say while seeing it only is somewhat hard. We have to go for some laboratory experiment. Third one is aggregate from metamorphic origin. Since metamorphic rocks shows foliated structure and the thickness of foliation may vary from few to many meters. If the thickness of foliation is less, then individual aggregate may exhibit foliation, which is not a desirable character for ourselves, for our concreting purpose. But it is very wrong to conclude by this statement that good concrete can be made from inferior aggregate obtained from not so good parent rock. It depends on so many other things. Now, they are the classification on which we quantify the quality of aggregate. Now, what is the effect of this aggregate on the concrete? Now, this effect also can be studied on different parameters such as size. Generally, if we use the largest possible size, then this will result in reduction of cement content because it is a main body. If very big size if you have used, then the cement content will be less. It means that the concrete will be economical. Reduction in water content, since the cement content is less, it means water content is also less. Reduction of drying shrinkage, because if cement content is less, aggregate cannot shrink after drying. It means there is a reduction of drying shrinkage. But it doesn't mean that you cut a piece of big rock and you can say that this is a concrete. That is why some codal provision is provided, because it should not be workable. To make it workable, to make it durable, we need some codal provision. That is why the code says that maximum size of aggregate should be as large as possible. But in any case, it should not be greater than 1/4 of thickness of the member. It means that the thickness of member is a parameter on which the size of aggregate varies, but it is a very important parameter. Now next is shape. Now what is shape? It can be circular, it can be angular, it can be rounded, it can be flaky. So in case of high performance and high strength and high performance concrete, this shape plays important role. But in regular concreting also, the shape plays an important role because it can affect the water cement ratio. It is very easy when vertical forces act in a flaky aggregate, then the structure may fail. So the angularity index plays an important role for water cement ratio, or you can say water content, and the strength of the concrete. So shape also plays an important role. The third point is texture. Texture is the property measure of which depends on relative degree to which particle surface are polished, dull, smooth, or rough. If the aggregate you are using is polished stone, then its binding with SCP, that is hydrated cement paste, is not very good. It can slip over the surface, and if the texture is rough, the interface between SCP and aggregate will more. So this texture also plays important role. Fourth point is strength. Strength of aggregate plays important role because all of us we know that if the strength of aggregate is less and it is the main body of the concrete, in that case the concrete may fail very early with the load only. To find the strength, we do crushing value test of aggregate. In this crushing value test, in this crushing value test, we take the aggregate which passed from 12.5 mm sieve and retained on 10 mm sieve. Then we take a cylinder-like apparatus in which we put that aggregates. On that, 40 ton of load is applied. After application of load, that aggregate is passed from 2.36 mm sieve, and we note down the passing percentage of the aggregates. Now, for this crushing value, if maximum 30% aggregate is passed from 2.36 mm sieve, then that concrete can be used for road and pavements. And if and a maximum of 45% of material which has passed, then that aggregate can be taken for other structural work. In strength test only, we do aggregate impact value test also. It is according to IS 283/1970. With respect to concrete aggregate, toughness is usually considered the resistance of the material to failure by impact, because we are going to use it at so many other places. We are going to use this aggregate at airfield. We are going to use this material in the roads, and most of the time impact load apply on this field, on these aggregates. Now for this, we use aggregate impact value test. We use a test in which a sample of standard aggregate is kept in a mold, and then that cylindrical mold is subjected to 15 blows of a hammer. The weight of hammer is here 14 kg, and that hammer is falling from a height of 38 centimeter. Now, after 15 blows, the quantity of finer material which is passing from 2.36 mm sieve indicate toughness of the aggregate. It is ratio of weight of fine to total weight of sample taken, and that is known as aggregate impact value, AIV value. This AIV should not exceed 45% by weight of aggregate used for concrete for any other wearing surface, and this AIV should not exceed 30% by weight for road and pavements. Even we do aggregate abrasion value test also. For this purpose, we do Devil attrition test, Dory abrasion test, Los Angeles test, etc. So there are so many tests to check the toughness of aggregates. Next important thing is cleanliness. There are some other parameters also on which aggregate can be checked or verified that they are useful for construction industry or not. But these are some important parameters which I had discussed in this video lecture. The next very important thing, the next very important constituent of concrete is water, because it actively participates in chemical reaction with cement. It is who is helping cement to gain the strength by forming a cement gel. Now, if carbonates and bicarbonates of sodium or potassium are present in the water, then it may affect the setting time of the cement. If sodium carbonate is there, it may cause quick setting. If other higher concentration of salt is there, then some test has to be done. And if the result of those tests give us that it exceeds 1000 ppm, then due to those salt, concrete again has to be tested on different parameters. Previously, we were saying that the water which can be drink is very good for concrete. We also drink water after mixing sugar in it. But can you use this water for concreting? No, because sugar has retarding effect on setting of the cement. It means that the quality of water should be properly checked before mixing it with cement. The pH of water is also very important. In case of brackish water, when it contains chlorides and sulfates, then it has to be checked that the chloride content should be less than 10,000 ppm and sulfate content should be less than 3000 ppm. If it is more than this, then the concrete has to be checked for compressive strength also. If salt of manganese, tin, zinc, copper, they are present in water, then they may cause a reduction in the strength of concrete. Sodium iodate, sodium phosphate, sodium borate, they all reduce the initial strength of the concrete. You cannot use seawater because in seawater there is 78% of NaCl. It means that 15% of chloride is present there. And if it is present, it can react with alkalis of the cement. It means that whatever water you are going to use to make your concrete should be checked for pH, for chlorides, for its hardness. Then only you can use that water to make your concrete. That is all I wanted to tell you about concrete and the constituent of concrete. Thank you.